Let's return to This Week in America. Here's your host, Rick Bratton.
Welcome back, everybody. Coast to Coast, This Week in America. Rebekah Wright's critically acclaimed book, Born to Lose, is a gripping and potent work that was inspired by God, giving the author the words, thoughts, ideas, and the gift to complete this honest work. A telling and emotional collection of personal thoughts and experiences, both tragic and insightful. Rebekah aims to help the reader find inspiration and peace. Born in Shreveport, Louisiana, Rebekah's parents relocated to Houston, Texas. After being raised exclusively in Houston at age 40, she relocated to California's Bay Area, Northern California, now living back in Louisiana. Rebekah Wright, author of Born to Lose, is with us on This Week in America. Rebekah, welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
You know, by sharing your story, you were able to help so many people. Let's talk about the decision to write this book, what you went through in deciding to write it. And like I say, it's been helpful to so many people. The reviews have been excellent. Talk about the motivation to write the book.
Well, actually, I didn't start off with the idea of writing a book. I was just writing. I was as if though you're speaking to another person and sharing your thoughts and feelings, but it was paper that I was speaking to. So, and at some point I realized I had piles of paper, and I said, this is a book. That was years later.
Well, yeah. What was this experience like for you in writing the book and in sharing so much? Was that difficult going back through your life?
Yes, it was. It was very difficult and very hurtful. And there were things that I remembered after writing that I had long forgotten, So it was depressive. But of course, I was depressed after, with my life going through the situation, the child molestation, and the rejection. So the feeling of worthless was a problem that I had, and I had to overcome it.
I'm sure you found, especially in writing the book, but after talking about it over the years, there's so many people out there like you, aren't there? A lot of Rebekahs that have gone through similar sets of circumstances that really don't know how to deal with it and may think they're the only ones. Did you have that thought as you were going through your life that I'm the only one?
Yes, I thought I was the only lonely one. Yes, I did. But I learned that there were many people and who had it kept silent about it, just as I had,
Well, you're a lifeline to so many people. Rebekah's book is Born to Lose. Rebekah is Rebekah, and Wright is Right. The book's available at Amazon. You can link on directly by going to our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Talk a little bit about yourself. I mentioned in the beginning where you live, but there's so much more, obviously, as you mentioned, experiences that shaped who you are. Just briefly, who are you and what were some of the experiences that you went through?
Some of the experiences, oh mercy, that I went, actually I lived through depression, and at some point it was really hard because I was raped as a small child. And this was in the 50s when you never heard the word rape or molestation or sex. You didn't hear words like that. So I didn't know what had happened to me. So for years it was blocked. And by it being blocked, it causes worse problems because you're suffering from something that you're not aware of that has happened to you. And when I began trying to have memory of something happening to me, I was afraid of it. And so I would quickly turn away from it, reject it. And that that was years. And trying to go through life at the same time when you have so many other problems and faced with situations. And later I had a son. I tried marriage and I had a son, and that didn't work. The marriage didn't work. But I was thankful for my son to, have someone to love you back, that you could love and love you back. And I just simply kept continued to put one foot in front of the other,
Yes,
you
yes.
know.
The title of the book is Born to Lose. How did you come up with the title? What does that represent?
It represents that when you think of all the troubles you have and the things, that negative thing that happened to you, I thought of what did I do? And I go back in my mind, what did I do? I wasn't a rebellious child, or what? Why? What? And it's just born to lose. Our only crime was being born. Is actually being born, and I really have a strong feelings about people having children and they don't want them because you hurt the child so bad, and for the rest of their lives.
Just one of the issues that Rebekah deals with very honestly in her book, Born to Lose by Rebekah Wright. The book's available at Amazon, the usual places. If you go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, you can link on directly. What were some of the challenges in writing the book? I alluded to the fact, and you were talking about it, painful memories, you had to go back, but possibly by going back, you were able to deal with these in a successful way. What were some of the challenges in writing the book? Were there times when you're thinking, I'm talking too much, I'm opening myself up too much? On the other hand, if you're going to help people, you really needed to do that. What were some of the challenges?
Yes, that was the biggest challenge, is with writing that. And I think that writing it instead of speaking to someone, I don't think it would have been possible for me to actually speak to someone about that. I had to write it in the first place because I had to overcome that. Oh, I am the only one. Look how long it's taken me to even come to grips with this. A senior. And it was really hard. It was just really hard. So after writing it, and I felt better. I felt relieved. I felt like, something had been lifted off me.
Yes.
Something unwanted had been lifted off me. And so I just told myself, I am going to do it. I will continue because I feel better. I had some self worth that had taken place. So I continued on. And when I stepped out, put it out there in the book, I found other seniors who said to me, pulled me to the side and said they had never told anybody. And they told me some stories. And wow.
And if you keep in mind where Rebekah in the 50s and the 60s, we did not, with media, we did not have the outlets where you can openly talk about these problems. You see these addressed in documentaries on television, in reality shows on television. You see people addressed in social media. You didn't have those, did you? I can see where you would feel like, I don't know anybody else that has a problem.
Right.
So it must just be me.
Yes. Yes, we didn't have that.
And
And
now
it's
you've
so sad. And I'm so glad that today that we have it. Really, I am.
Well, you're
It,
part of the solution here because you can pick up Rebekah's book and read, and maybe some of the situations you're going through are what situations Rebekah had to go through. The book Born to Lose, Rebekah Wright is our guest on the program. What do you hope that people take away from reading the book when it's over with and they set the book down? What do you hope the impact is?
I hope that they begin to recognize and that they need to step forward in reporting incidents of child abuse and child molestation. And I believe that women are the only ones who can really stop that. And it's really about reporting. Most of them are your family and friends of family. And people hesitate to report them because of that. But if they would go forward, know that the child's suffering more, and that won't stop them. If you keep quiet about it, it won't stop the person from doing it again and again, sometimes to the same person.
When you made the decision to write the book Born to Lose, let's talk about the process and getting the ideas to write it and setting aside time. Was it difficult? I was going to say to start. Maybe it was difficult to stop once you got started, putting your thoughts together, going back to that recollection period and writing. What was that process like in getting ideas and then getting them in book form?
Well, actually, I would come home from work and after doing a few other little things, and I would sit quietly, and the thoughts would, they would just come to me, come to me out of my head, and I would just simply write them down, and then I would remember actual events and things that happen in places, and I would, just write it. And like I say, I didn't realize that I was writing a book, and I'd sit that to the side, and next time I'd pick up another tablet and I'd just write. Just once I started, I needed to, I would go on for a while. And then when I stopped, sometimes I would be, it would be a month before I pick up another tablet and start it.
Yes. Maybe it's a good thing you didn't know you were writing a book. Maybe that would have intimidated you. You were just basically putting thoughts on paper, and then suddenly it's like, okay, now I've got a compilation here. I can go ahead and put the book together. Are there maybe some parts of the book that you're particularly proud of? Maybe those that I don't necessarily say favorites, but something you think, okay, I told this story and I really think I did it in a impactful way, and this will help people. Are there some of those chapters in the book when you think like, okay, this is a job well done. This is a very important point that I'm making.
You know what I like best? After I completed, the book, and I had no ideas yet. It didn't have the name, and I thought, now what will I call it? And it just came to me, Born to Lose. And I really like that. I really like that. Because, we look at when something negative happened, we turn on self and say, what did I do? And there are many times when we've done nothing, and things happen to you. And when things, molestation and abuse happen to innocent children, they've done nothing, And Born to Lose just really stood out, That's why I say, if you don't want a child, don't have one.
Well, let's talk about some of the issues that you address, because you do it very, very honestly. Abortions, do you think maybe there's a case to be made that sometimes that's the best way for everybody?
I think, everybody, we all make mistakes. And so if in spite of that you try at birth control and you're still pregnant, and if you don't want the child, yes, I think abortion is the answer. Because I look at myself compared to myself. I would have rather been aborted than to suffer, unnecessarily, suffer.
Can child rape be stopped? And I ask that because you went through this decades ago. still continues. Can it be stopped? And how do we go about ending this?
Yes, it can be. And it's simple. It's just simply women need to report means that, they need to report, like I say, majority of it is family and friends. And if they would report them, don't concern yourself whether they will be convicted. Just report them. That would slow them and stop them, and some of them would be convicted, but they would know that they cannot continue to do that and walk free. And that would stop, it would end.
So often you hear when someone comes forward, the statute of limitations have passed. Should those be removed entirely, do you think?
Yes, because a child suffers their entire life from that. Why should a man be excused or a woman after 10 years? Sometimes a child don't even realize I didn't know that I was raped 10 years later. I didn't know that. The statute of limitation already expired.
How about the role of education in terms of prenatal care, focusing on rape and abuse? Should that be more of our focus?
I think it should be, yes, all a part of that when you're going young mothers for the first time. It's making them aware of all the things that they need to be aware of, and know that those things happen, and educating them that most of it come from your family, so often we leave our kids with family members and friends of the family without thinking that, things like that could happen.
Yes.
But they need to be aware of that. Yes.
And it's something I know you addressed. Does religion make you a better parent? Is there an association between that?
Yes, because I'm aware of someone who child was molested, and I said, there was later that you need to report it, and she said, I'm going to pray about it. And I tell you, 10 years later, she was still praying. She's really religious,
Yes.
So people sometimes say, I'm going to wait on God. I'm going to pray and let God handle it. But, you need to handle it, So they confused.
Rebekah Wright has been our guest on the program. Rebekah, if you're going to look it up, is Rebekah, Rebekah Wright, Right. The book is Born to Lose. You'll find it at Amazon. If you go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, you'll be able to get information on the book and order the book as well. Are you working on a follow-up to this? You've done so well with this in telling the story and letting other people know that if you went through some of the similar circumstances, you're okay. You can get through this. Are you working on a follow-up to this?
Yes, I am. And the follow-up is created to win. I was born to lose, but created to win.
I like that.
Yes.
And that really sums up your life pretty much, doesn't it? That transformation that you went through.
Yes.
Started off losing, and now it's focused on winning. And you've touched so many people. And again, just as I wrap this up here, it's so amazing what you've been able to do with the book. I mean, you could have gone out and talked to a few people, friends, and helped them through circumstances. But now there are people all over the world that you've never met, many you'll never hear from, that have read Born to Lose, that's impacted their life. What's that like, that satisfaction that, I did the right thing and I'm helping people?
Oh, it's great. Yes, great. I love it. And I feel good. It helps my self-esteem. It motivates me to do that follow-up.
Well,
yes.
I look forward to having a chance to read that and hopefully talk about it as well. Our guest, Rebekah Wright, I'll spell it again if you're going to Google to make sure you get it correct. It's Rebekah, and Wright is very simple, Right. The book is Born to Lose. You'll find it at Amazon. You can go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link on and get all the information and order the book there as well. Rebekah, it's been a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for sharing your story and helping people along the way. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure to have you with us, Rebekah Wright. The book is Born to Lose. Information on our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Back on today's program after these messages.
This Week in America is online. You can visit our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Scott Pinkerton, Associate Producer of This Week in America. Jay Anderson, Segment Producer. Ben Watson, Webmaster. Otto Bechet, Director of Engineering and TV Production. This Week in America produced and is a trademark of Blue Funk Broadcasting, LLC. For information on all of our guests and to listen to this week's show, our website again at thisweekinamerica.us. And I'm Sean Bratton, Executive Producer of This Week in America.